guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the very first video in a series I'm going to call The History of Makeup, and this is makeup the origin, very earliest makeup that we currently know about. You're going to see me looking down and referencing my notes. You're also in this video going to see a lot of art from the periods that I'm going to be talking about. You're going to see tribal influences I decided to use. It would be fun to create a look based on what we know is historically likely from this period. Keeping in mind there is no artwork because this is so early. So basically I'm going off of what tribes in that area use today, still today in ceremonial purposes. Looking around the world at the way they did their makeup. You know, I totally screwed this up, bear with me. I've never done this style of makeup before. No idea what I'm doing here. But you know, I'm kind of thinking neither did they. This is the very first historical account of makeup was discovered just very recently. They had originally thought that makeup dated back to about 60,000 BC, around there. This site that they discovered in South Africa in Pinnacle Point, there were 64 different colors of mineral pigment ground. The very first account of mineralized makeup right there. They say that makeup was ceremonial. And this very first account of makeup is around 160,000 years ago. Now there's some debate from, you know, almost 200,000 years ago to 140,000 years ago. That's a lot of time difference. We're just gonna go split that in half. Prominently what they find in makeup in that period are clays and red ochre. This area that they found is very, very early in human history. They didn't even know that we as a species had civilization. So the fact that they were wearing makeup came as a huge surprise and shock to them. I don't know why. We've known that, you know, women slaying their face and looking amazing totally makes some guy go make, you know, get you the best food. Women in that time period, some of them, you know, no marriage or anything, so an older woman, and I would have been a very old woman. 30 was about the oldest. The lifespan I think was like in their late teens, early 20s. So makeup is so much more than ceremonial, especially the types of makeup that they used at that time. I think that probably they started wearing makeup for a couple reasons. Makeup is a barrier. And living on the ocean like that, it would protect the skin some from the sun, from the wind. Makeup was something that they did to protect themselves and keep themselves from getting sick. Because red ochre, as an herbalist I know, is a really well-known protectant. So when you put it on the skin, it really helps with keeping you from ending with nasty ailments, and little things like that could kill you at that time. So what they used, like I said, was red ochre, was used a lot, and red ochre isn't just red, it comes in different shades of red because it's a mineral. So slaying your face has always been something that we ladies know is a great way to protect ourselves, look amazing. We have been out there looking around and saying, hey, if I put this particular type of thing on my skin, you know, I'm not burning or I'm not getting infections from being in the water a lot, because this particular area was also where they found that is some of the very first fishing. Before that, they thought that also dated back to around 60,000 years ago. So apparently makeup and fishing and civilization go hand in hand. And I sometimes think that archaeologists are probably mostly men, especially in those areas of the world that they're in. No, they don't think of it from a female's perspective. I'm just using mineralized makeup powders, which is obviously about as close as I'm going to get, unless I go dig up some rocks and grind them into powder, which no thank you. Sort of mixing and creating different shades as I go here. This is a first for me, painting myself up like this. And obviously this will look very different. You're gonna see a picture right about now. Some actual people of that area with this red ochre makeup on their skin. You can see I am significantly fairer than them. So my look isn't going to be exact. Just kind of creating a gradient effect at the moment. I'm trying to make it go from darker to lighter. I think that they would have went with simple looks. I don't know, how much time do you think they probably spent on makeup? If it was stormy and they couldn't go out into the weather and they were sitting in their cave around a fire, then maybe a little more. In the summer when, you know, they needed to go out and hunt and gather and dry things, probably less. It is interesting to think about, you know, how makeup helped us evolve. And I think makeup goes hand in hand with our evolution. A lot of people dismiss makeup as fluff, and it is kind of fluff. I mean, it's all fun and games and makes you look pretty and feel really good. But is feeling good really fluff? How do you feel when you wear makeup? How do you think it made them feel? I suspect that it made them feel powerful, which is something I totally understand. Makeup makes me feel powerful. When I do it right. Or it makes me feel pretty or confident. I also think that to some extent, you know, it's probably protection, literal and figuratively. Protection from the sun, and maybe certain women wore them, and men, they probably wore it differently, much like you see tribes do today, depending on your rank within the tribe. If you had been mated to somebody who died, maybe those people wore a slightly different look. I don't know, I just find it all very fascinating. And I find it also really interesting that a lot of times when we think of makeup, we only go back a short ways. Now you're also going to see some artwork. And oh my gosh, look at that artwork. Wow. That picture of the lions, I actually thought that was a modern interpretation because it looks like Leonardo da Vinci attempting to anatomy of the mountain lion or whatever they were trying to use. These caves were only discovered in around 2000 because, like I said before that, we thought that makeup use only dated back to about 60,000 BC. This is 100,000 years before that, which is a long, long time. So we've been rocking the mineralized makeup for a good long while. Looking at their pictures and paintings, which seriously, wow, how beautiful are they? I mean, they're very talented. Amazing that they could do that and make these things look the way they did. Finding these civilizations that are way older than we ever thought. Seriously, how much impact did makeup have on civilization? That does seem to be a common denominator here. From the research that I did, I think you could make a really good case that makeup is an indicator of where we were sociologically. People a lot of times think of makeup and we think, you know, it only dates back so far. And I think that's a mistake. Other types of makeup, what we're gonna call makeup because it was the beginnings of face painting, are things like coal. I also think that they would have accented wrinkles. Now, I would not have looked like I do now at my age. Well, frankly, I'd be dead back then, so obviously I wouldn't look like this. I'd look like a mummy. I think they bundled their dead, and I know that they did put them in caves. Cave was a burial cave that they found, which is why they're finding so much information. And red ochre, when you apply it to the skin with like lard, or you know, when you cook meat and the fat drips off, if they combine those two things together, it actually makes your body odor or other strong odors disappear. You know, living in a cave all the time with other people, that was bound to get smelly. One of the tribal patterns that I'm seeing a lot is dots. And I suspect that facial scarring from diseases and bacteria was a real problem back then. Clear skin, we're predisposed as a species, when somebody has clear skin, to see that they are more fertile. And that was how people still to this day choose mates. And I'm hoping this is showing up to you guys on camera right now, because that's gonna suck if it isn't. A lot of times to use these dots, they would distract from facial scarring, and also these dots of red ochre would help heal. So it may be that this whole fashion of dots got started by somebody having something where they had red dots all over them. Well, that covers them up and makes them heal better, you know, and then it sort of caught on as a trend. Maybe it started out that the wise woman of the tribe figured out that this helped heal people's skin problems, and so during ceremonies she would dot this red ochre all over people, polka dotted, and maybe that's where some of the current ceremonies even today are coming from, is this way back then thing of them trying to heal themselves. All we can do is hypothesize given the best information that we have. Like I said, I am putting up artwork where makeup came from and why they used it, and possibilities of why they used it the way they did. I think that it was a combination of things. I started out as them trying to find something to make them feel better, and then slowly turned into, hey, this, you know, it's very healing. And then that healing and that magical effect of it turned into something else. It's harder to do than I thought, so I'll be right back. And that you're seeing some of the makeup that you do from these tribes was a very practical thing. By putting black under your eyes, as any football player will tell you, the glare from coming back as much would be something they would have discovered and utilized, because they're utilizing what's in their environment. No idea what their makeup at that time would have looked like, because there is no existing documentation. It was too long ago. So all we can do is hypothesize and go off of what we see in tribes even today in some areas of the world. These black rimmed eyes are something you see around the world because they have a practical purpose. Your eyes safer. They obviously couldn't do it completely, but they probably helped quite a bit. I hope you enjoyed this beginning of the origins of makeup. As I go, this is gonna get a little more cohesive. I'm gonna have a lot more facts about things. If you wanna look up the Pinnacle Bay archaeological site, I will link that below, as will I link all the other information and credits to the people whose photographs that I've used throughout this video, because oh my gosh, aren't they amazing. I hope you enjoyed this and this look back at, you know, where makeup may have came from and helped society through time. Because I really do think makeup probably did help us evolve into what we are today. That where makeup came from and its effect on our lives and how it started is so fascinating. That they had 64 shades. 64 shades of makeup. How cool is that? And grinding up with a pestle, 64 shades of minerals to make your makeup. They actually had very fine tools. That was another thing found at the site. I hope you go look it up. I hope you found this as fascinating as I did. I really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this video. And I hope you will follow me on our journey through time. This was 60,000 years to 160,000 years ago. That's a huge jump in time. My next video will be on ancient Egypt. The very ancient Egypt. There's ancient Egypt and more modern ancient Egypt. We're going to do those two kingdoms and what that would have looked like and how makeup impacted their lives and what they used it for in my next video. So I hope you guys will watch. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did. I look forward to seeing you again. Talk to you later. Bye!